Hey everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Saga. Dave Cottingham here with Hannah Burr.
Hello.
Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing good. And we are here talking about arguably one of the most beloved characters of Star Wars.
My hero.
Princess Leia, yes. Star Wars Leia, Princess of Alderaan is the novel. Again, one that has been out for a while. This was actually part of the journey to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. They were putting those on top of some of the books and comics at the time. So this was leading up to Episode 8, which came out in 2017. This came out roughly around September of 2017. Written by the great Claudia Gray. If you haven't read her Star Wars novels, I suggest you go do that.
She's fantastic.
Fantastic. Some of her other ones have been Lost Stars, which was awesome. Bloodlines. She did Bloodlines, I believe,
she did
too.
Bloodline. That's a great book.
Yeah. And of course, she's one of the main writers on the High Republic series. So there's a lot of Claudia Gray out there. Go get those books. But this book takes place 3 years before A New Hope, right around Leia's 16th birthday. Mm-hmm. So overall, Hannah, how did you? I know. We actually recorded this a long time ago, but the audio is it's like the one time that the audio was bad, and we never had a really chance. We just never really redid it. And finally, we thought, you know what, we got to get this one out because this is a really good book.
Yes.
So overall, Hannah, tell us again. Tell me again. What did you think about this book?
I really, really liked it. I think it speaks to who Leia is. It's a story about her discovering that her parents are a part of this secret rebellion, and Mon Mothma's a part of it as well. And she's proving that she can be a part of it. We also are introduced to her first love interest, and some of the growing pains and some pain she learns from that. We see how Saw Gerrera is considered a terrorist, even by those who are a part of the rebellion. We also learn a lot about Leia's mom and the fact that her heart is part machine, or it's dependent upon a machine, so that she can still live. And then we also learn a lot about Alderaan and its culture. And we learn, this planet's gone, poof, bye. And with it, this whole culture. And so you're learning about these different things about this matriarchy. And then you realize, oh, I'm falling in love with this world that's no longer here.
Right.
And then also throughout the book, there are little snippets showing us that Leia is force sensitive. She doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know how she's doing what she's doing. She just chalks it up to adrenaline.
Yes, right.
So I think that's a good summary of the book.
Yes. I liked it a lot as well. This is a junior novel. It's not like an adult novel. It is a junior novel, so it reads really easy. Of course, I listened to it as I always do with these.
I think I read this one, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I did.
So the thing about her 16th birthday also was, the ceremony that basically says that, you're going to take over the throne at some point.
That's right. Yes.
Right. Which is something we never really, I guess you kind of knew would happen since she's a princess, but you never really after the destruction of Alderaan, no one really ever called her Queen of Alderaan, even though she technically inherited the throne, but there was no world, so you really couldn't. But it was a ceremony for being 16. I will say that, one of the questions I did have, kind of throughout Leia's journey was when did she discover the rebellion? Because, you obviously, we haven't seen a story of hers before this until we got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And we also got Rebels. She was in a Rebels episode.
You're right, but this had to have taken place after Rebels. Or I'm sorry, before Rebels.
Yes, absolutely, because in Rebels, she's aware of the rebellion.
That's right.
This takes place before that.
You're right. Which that is a little close on the timeline, because I have to look back at Rebels, because technically Rebels starts, 5 years before episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she comes into season 2, which would be close to her. I mean, she must have just turned 16, because it's
There's
really
no other
close. Yeah, it's really close. So so it was interesting to see that. And it was interesting, obviously, when you go back and watch, and we got introduced to Obi-Wan when she's 10, and she obviously doesn't know then. And even then, there's no real discussion of how involved Bail is at that point, even though he has been. But you don't know, there's no outward rebellion going on yet at that point. They're still kind of working the behind the scenes, it feels like. But yeah, the fact that she does find out, and the fact that she is aware at that point, and so then she's working the system with them for 3 years up until the destruction of Alderaan.
Yep.
It's a pretty cool story to get, and again, it makes sense that this came out before The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi was more about Leia and leading the resistance, and then of course you also meet a young Holdo, not young, well, kind of young at this point, because young compared to where she was in The Last Jedi. You get introduced to a young Amilyn Holdo, which is Admiral Holdo, once Leia kind of gets into that brief coma.
Yes.
From being in space, Holdo takes over, and then of course the Holdo move where she light speeds through Snoke's ship. That Holdo is one of her friends, and they grew up together, went to school together, things like that. So it gives a little bit more meaning to their conversation when she sacrificed herself for.
It does, and sorry, this is my opinion, mine alone. I don't speak for the brand. That always it always confused me watching The Last Jedi, because it's who is this woman?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we care about her? That was one of the many problems I had with The Last Jedi. And this book did provide context, but once again, it comes back to the whole debate. Should the books fill in the blanks?
Yeah, right.
Or should you just be able to watch the movies and not need, don't get me wrong. There are some, okay, perfect example is the comics between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Are they needed? No. Do they provide some information to help you connect the dots? Sure, but it's not huge plot holes.
Yeah, no.
That was a huge plot hole for me in The Last Jedi, and I feel like this book helped give it some oomph and some background. But if you don't know to read the books,
yeah,
it's like the same thing with Shadow of the Sith. It's a great book. It should have been episode 7.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah,
instead, it was written to help fill in the blanks, to help connect all of the sequels. And it's do you really, you shouldn't need that.
No, you shouldn't. No, well, that kind of rounds out to our question, how impactful is this to Leia's character? Because again, Leia is obviously one of the most, one of the top characters of Star Wars, all of
Right.
Star Wars.
I think this,
from the original trilogy. It's like we have a lot of stories of her. She's in all the movies pretty much, except the prequels, but she's just around everywhere.
yeah.
How much does this actually impact and change her character at all,
I
if
don't
at
think it
all?
changes her character at all. If anything, it just reinforces who she is.
True.
Like, we already knew she was this, can't use those words. She's this amazing woman. She's this hero. She's this strong female character. She doesn't need an explanation. That's just who she is. If
Hmm.
anything, this book just reinforces it. It doesn't fill in any blanks. It doesn't like try to close any loopholes as to who she is. Yeah. So we didn't need this book, but it tells us when she joined the rebellion, when she found out about the rebellion, and it just reinforces who she is in the movies that we see.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think all of these backstories that we see with some of these characters, like we've got a little bit more backstory of like Han with not only the movie, but there's been novels and comics and stuff, and with Leia, I do think this is a little more impactful just because it's pre original trilogy,
Right.
which means again there's a little more discovery on her part, with the rebellion and the pressure of being maybe the new queen and things like that. Because like you said, the comics that kind of take place between episodes 4 and 5 and 5 and 6, it's like you really can't do much. I mean, they're adventure stories. They're not really character changing stories because the character at that point, what they're, you know what I mean? The impact of their character is, this at least is a good setup. You can kind of start to see where it comes from because we don't see it obviously from when she's born until
Right.
this point. You don't want to know, which I would be all for. I mean, would you be all for like a little? Would you be okay with like a 16-year-old series around Leia, even though because I would have to be recasted, right?
Well, at that point, I would say go animation.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
go animation. I don't think I'd be mad at it. I don't think we need it. I'd rather, like, if you asked me choose that or Old Republic, I would say Old Republic without even a hesitation.
I think everybody knows that. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be mad if they were like, "Oh, by the way, we have this Leia Alderaan series coming out." Oh, okay.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I wish
Same.
you would give me something else, but okay, I'm not mad.
True. True. Okay. Cool. So rating
Rating? I think when we recorded this, I gave this a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Oh, okay.
I
That's
think I
high for
did.
you.
Yeah, well, 4.5 is still the highest with Dark Disciple. So
I'll give this a 4 as well. I think it's really good.
it's solid.
Again, Claudia Gray is one of the best. So there's not many that does not. I can't even think of anything that I wouldn't read of hers.
There's one there was that one High Republic book that left you and I going.
Oh, that one was a little hard to read, but
Once you got 2/3 through though, it was like, oh, gotta keep
yeah, yeah.
reading.
Into the Dark. I think is
Yeah,
that one
Into the
was called.
Dark. Like
Yeah, yeah,
2/3
yeah.
in, that's when it got really interesting.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean,
just the
it was still a good read, but it was like,
right.
when are things picking up?
Yes. Oh, did she do? I can't see it. Can I see it?
What did she do?
Oh yeah, she did. She did Master and Apprentice also.
I loved The Master and
I
Apprentice.
totally forgot about that.
Oh, that's a
So
good
here's her Star Wars one. So she did Lost Stars.
Mm-hmm.
She did Bloodline. She did Leia, Master and Apprentice. And then High Republic she did Into the Dark. She did the Fallen Star, which we talked about on our last show that we got to do.
Yes.
And she did Into the Light, which is another High Republic. I think that's in the third phase.
I think that is.
Yeah. So those are the Star Wars ones that she did.
There you go. We almost read
Yeah.
every single Claudia Gray book.
I know. Master and Apprentice is awesome.
I love it.
Just got to do the Fallen Star next, coming soon. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let us know what you all thought about Leia. Again, one of those books that's been out for a while, but always good to go back and check it out if you haven't, if it missed it. Good story there for young 16-year-old Leia and learning about the rebellion. Thanks, Hannah, as always.
Thank you, Dave, as always.
All right, everybody, go to YouTube for more Beyond the Sagas. And then, of course, check out our Inside the Force podcast each week right here on YouTube and all your podcast feeds. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. May the Force be with you.